Welcome back. Some action from late last evening in the Dunlop Development Series here at the Clipsal 500 where they spin and bash and budge. Check this out. Car number 7, Brett Hobson, straight into the wall, almost into the slow-mo camera set outside at turn 3. And at the end of the evening, just at dusk, Cameron Waters took the victory in car number 5. So it's a big challenge for these guys. We've got a couple of old-timers in the field, but essentially it is the next generation of V8 supercar drivers trying to get into the main game. So time for race 2 of the Dunlop Series. A big field, 27 drivers for this one. And your commentators, Greg Murphy and Rusty.
So the field head off on that warm-up lap as we take a look at the grid. Waters, the form-man of the weekend, the youngster wanting to try and assert his authority over Dumbrell, who won the championship last year. Waters was the runner-up, but Cam was strong at the end of the 2014 season, Greg Murphy, and he's begun exactly where he left off.
And that was key. You know, he needs that confidence. He's got a lot of confidence. There's no question. He's got a lot of ability. We saw him have those couple of glitches throughout 2014, which, you know, knocked him about a little bit. And, you know, there was a bit of criticism and judgment, that kind of thing. But there was no question still about his speed. And Pro Drive Racing Australia have got a massive amount of faith in him, as you've covered. And it's going to be exciting to see where he does end up in 2015, who he's going to be alongside in the main game for the Enduros.
So the race is scheduled for 19 laps. A little bit of news out of the pit lane. Paul Morris, who's been doing some commentary for us over the weekend, told us earlier today he had a right rear puncture in race 1. So coming off the back of that, he felt the car was good despite that issue, if you eliminate that. He said for a 47-year-old, hey, I'm feeling pretty racy. So he's got some work to do. And Josh Keane is back in the game from Adelaide. He works at a BMW dealership here. He had some real spring in his step. A good test with Brad Jones Racing recently and had that incident yesterday. Just not quite enough brake pressure to pull the car up at turn 9. So he'll be one to watch. He said, I'm going to change my mindset today and just try and take a little bit of a conservative approach, let the field settle early, and then hopefully try and pick up some positions along the way. That was the approach that was key to his teammates. Andrew Jones, who starts out of 8 today, and Macaulay Jones, who was just outside the 10 at the end of race 1.
Yeah, Andrew Jones, we know that he's pace. He's always around that sort of top 5. Starting off the back, big challenge for him, but he kept calm. Managed to get through a few. There's a few incidents there, as we saw. Staying out of trouble in this series is not an easy thing to do sometimes. The safety car helped bunch them up right at the end there, but only had that 1-lap sprint to the finish, which was pretty exciting. I just was speaking to Owen Evans before, young Simon Evans' dad, and that car got damaged on the first lap, the left front tyre. He clipped the curb down at 1 and damaged the tyre. He ran the whole race with a tyre that was actually getting scrubbed very hard against the guard, and half of it was worn away completely by the end. So he did a great job to sustain the pressure and stay consistent, but he did lose a few spots right at the end after that safety car got sort of muscled back a little bit. So we see him pulling up now in the Super Black Racing Falcon. Renee Gracie coming around in the Fujitsu car. Great start for her yesterday.
We'll talk more about Simon as that race unfolds. Brother of Mitch Evans. Mitch, of course, competing in GP2. Guy who's got aspirations of making it into Formula 1 and works closely with Mark Webber. Just about set to go here. So much to look forward to. Great sound. The V8's thunder. And we're away. Good start by Paul Dumbrell. Perfect execution. And he will lead them into turn 1. Look at the back of the field. They're pressed up against the wall. They go into the centre chicane for the first time. Chris Pither in that ice break entry. We've got dramas here. Aaron McGill manages to keep it off the wall in what will be his farewell tour in the Battery World Racing entry. He announced his retirement recently, and that'll happen at the end of the season in the Dunlop Series. Todd Hazelwood just taking it cautiously there. Move up the inside. That's Shay Davies, who told me in between race 1 and 2 that they had over-pressured the tyres yesterday and it killed it for him. He said, oh, look at that. Matt Chatter, I think it was.
A pretty angry start there in race 2 for the Dunlop series. But Paul Dumbrell, he got the start he was looking for. He's going to put the pressure on Cam Waters. It's now Cam who's doing the chasing. Unlike yesterday, he had a pretty easy race. It's Jacobson on Pither, who's had a shocking start. Dropped a few spots there.
McCauley Jones
getting pushed from behind.
Jesse Dixon in the mix there too. Morris. Morris, the United entry too. He's got the elbows out. Davies is fighting here with Taz Douglas. Douglas, don't forget yesterday, he was gutted. He'd done a brilliant job in that THR Developments car, the ex-Kelly Racing Commodore, but the window net wasn't fastened properly and he was doing his best to try and get it into place. Davies under pressure.
Still action, Morris, in today.
I think Simon Evans has got some damage there as well.
Got
the final turn.
Oh, Messi first lap. Sorry. Messi first lap of the second race here at Adelaide. Oh, the brakes. Jacobson pushing hard on Pither.
The way the cars ride the bumps there, they really porpoise across them, and it's hard sometimes for them to arrest that speed. Spectacular to watch as they climb the staircase of the Adelaide Parkland circuit. Andrew Jones on the tail of that group. He looked good at the end of the race yesterday, but it's Dumbrell leading in the one from Cam Waters. So Eggleston Motorsport, a good start to the day here, 1 and 3.
Just saw Paul Dumbrell clip the inside curve there through turn 8.
Sideways.
Was that Jack LeBrock?
I got a feeling it was the ice entry of Hazelwood. He did very well there.
It was a bit of a moment, had a lot of correction, would have had to get out of the throttle, a bit of dab on the brake to try and settle the car before it hit the fence. We've seen a few cars in different categories already this morning having major problems with turn 8. So Hazelwood gets a little fright.
Didn't he? What?
End of lap 2, Dumbrell got a very small gap to Waters. These two pulling away from Pedersen, who's holding a good position at 30. We'll watch the start. And what? Oh, too much wheel spin for Waters. Same for Chris Pither, who got swamped down to turn 1. Dumbrell, though, I don't think it could get much better than that. That car fired out of group 2. Look at Pither blocking.
It's a dynamite start from Aaron Russell too in the Fitness Plus entry.
Absolutely.
Look at them here.
And then we see Aaron McGill getting probably a little bit of a helping hand as they all bottleneck into 1 and 2. Everyone else safely through. Here's the melee. Oh. Day. Not quite sure. We couldn't see further back what happened. There was a bit of a concertina going in there. There we go. Hazelwood sideways.
So close. 8th position for the 35 at the moment. LeBrock right behind him. Look at this up in front too. As Andrew Jones has looked, that would have got the heart rate going.
3 wide into 4.
Josh Keane.
Josh Keane. His weekend started off so well, and it's not gone so good for the races. Qualified well inside the 10 initially. Obviously had that penalty, moved to the back, then got involved in a bit of an accident in the first race. The two at the front, though, still nose to tail. There is a battle going on, which is good to see. Andrew Jones on Jacobson. Forces the number 8 into the apex there. Jacobson gives him a little bit of room and maintains that position. It gives the two behind. Hazelwood and LeBrock, a little bit of a sniff.
So a warning to Cam Waters for climbing that curb on the exit of the centre chicane. One to Jesse Dixon as well. There is a sensor there on the curbing at turn 2. And you've got to wonder what could have been, Murph, for the Brad Jones Racing entries, given the start to the weekend and then that rear grid penalty for all 3 of them for that breach relating to the rear brakes that are mandatory in this class. So a change.
Waters runs wide. Next lap round. Paul Dumbrell locked a brake going in there the lap before, gave Waters the opportunity to get underneath.
Recap.
He came off the curb. Came off the curb hard, Paul Dumbrell.
Recap of how it all unfolded, and Waters just wasted no time.
It unsettled. There was some motorsport car. We've got to hit it. Turn 8. Luckily to get away with that one. Oh. Slide down the fence.
Want to catch the numbers at Bryce Forward? Who was that?
Oh, the brakes were on.
Oh.
Got the inside curb. You can see this, the steering is damaged. Young Bryce forward from Darwin. His first time, he's a rookie as well. Young charger from the Northern Territory. Got a little bit more than he bargained for there at turn 8. It bites hard.
And hasn't it bitten hard today? If you've just joined our coverage, there's been all sorts of incidents at that corner. Hopefully we won't see that in the big races coming up this afternoon for the Championship Series.
Oh, more smoke.
Lock up from someone. That's Chris Pither. Chris Pither at turn 9. Very costly for him there. Look at the amount of ground positions that he's lost. LeBrock will get him here too.
Yeah, back to 10th position, I think, or 9th position. Big lock-up from Pither.
You and I spoke with Matthew White, who runs that operation in recent days. They're campaigning 3 cars there, as you can see, post-race.
He's actually going slow there, though, Rusty. It looks like he may have another problem. That car is travelling very slow.
So just to confirm, that incident involving Paul Morris in the 67 and the 2 of Dan Day will be looked at later. But all 3 drivers in that MWR operation are left foot breakers. Great story, this one. Young Macaulay Jones, a really committed racer, wants to follow in Dad's footsteps and just applies himself in and out of the car. He's on the tools working on these cars for BJR during the week. A rigorous training program, and did an exceptional job from the rear of the grid yesterday after they incurred a breach relating to the mandatory brakes in this class, Murph, and it sent all 3 of them to the back of the pack. Yeah, just a mistake by the team. They were allowed to run last year's control brake package up until qualifying. We've seen another change. So has Waters made a blue at turn 9 now? He must have. It's on. Dumbrell has been putting on the pressure. He's got a couple of hops through the turn 1, turn 2 chicane. He was pushing hard. I'm a bit surprised to see that change come about, but these 2's locked it again. Waters looking down the inside for a second time. He's got his nose underneath Dumbrell. There's going to be a drag race this time. Again, this is not over. It's on between these guys in 2015. Dumbrell on the inside. Doesn't want to yield. Waters is going to stay. Has to back out of it. He's going to take a strike as he runs wide over the curb. Awesome stuff in the Dunlop series. The experience of Dumbrell, the youngster on a charge. Waters, who wants that crown this year. Terrific stuff. This is a great battle between 2 guys on their game. Waters, oh, Dumbrell clips the wall, carries the speed. That's unreal. There was nothing Waters could do about it. Look, he had to prop. Damage down the side of the car too as he's glanced the wall, and then this. Bad sportsmanship flags are coming through. Car 1. He's had 3 strikes at turn 1, has Paul Dumbrell. The other car is Kurt Kostecki, the 4. He's in 21st position, so remember they police that. And if it gets to a point, Murph, if you do too many, a penalty can be applied. Pit lane penalty will apply. Dumbrell running wide. These 2 burning up these tyres, pushing very, very hard. Look at the lap times. Dumbrell 22.8. So they are not backing off. Oh, he's locked that wheel again. It's definitely got a sizable flat spot on it. He's struggling to pull the car up under pressure now. If Waters has got the smarts, which we know he has, he's going to use that to his advantage. He needs to make sure he gets the pressure on Dumbrell going in there, forcing him to push as hard as he can. Little bit of undercurrent of the rivalry too between Red Bull Racing Australia and Pro Drive Racing Australia. Cam, of course, part of the PRA family, and that car that Dumbrell is racing is the winner from 2010 in the hands of Lowndes and Scaife. Here we go. At Bathurst, I should say. This is the lap before. Waters gets a strike on this one as they went side by side down to 1. Look at them both just putting the pressure on their 2 cars. We've got a bit of a replay. Renee Gracie down to 9, losing the back end very late in the braking phase. Tried to save it. Tried to save it. The learning continues. But here they are, the 2 leaders. This battle. Oh, Dumbrell late. Waters shows the nose. He's the intimidator, Waters, but he loses the time there through the apex. You see that, Rusty? Just couldn't get on the line and see the gap now that's opened up. The pressure taking off immediately
of Paul Dumbrell.
Now, you've talked in these races about managing the tyres and how important it is. These guys are giving them a fair punish, aren't they?
They are giving them an absolute punish. Rihanna, there's so much action going on up here, but what's happening down the lane?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention Eggleston Motorsport have had a spare tyre sitting on pit lane waiting for Paul Dumbrell for when he needs it. He has been torching that front tyre over and over.
So we watch here now with Chris Pither battling away with Jesse Dixon. Pither is in 13th, Dixon 14. But it's Dumbrell leading the way from Waters. So the policing of the curb hopping at turn 2 is a real feature, a real story here. Both Dumbrell and Waters now have 3 hops each.
Yeah, Kostecki has just had his 4, so he is going to get a pit lane penalty, but both our leaders sit on 3 curb strikes. Waters just got one on this lap. He has not relented in the pressure. These two still pulling away, delivering the lap times, and we've still got 9 laps to run. So the pressure and the lead change. Oh, Waters sideways. Under brakes, he's really starting to struggle to get that car turned. And see the gap open up again, Rusty, but he's very fast through the rest of the lap.
Massive shout out for Aaron Russell. 3rd position at the moment in the 58. That's an excellent drive by him. Ant Pedersen in the top 4. And Andrew Jones continues to claw away. He's 5th. Andrew Jones pulling clear of these guys. Ant Pedersen in the 38. His teammate at Eggleston Motorsport, Gary Jacobson, in the 54. Behind them, Jack LeBrock. And then Todd Hazelwood. Taz Douglas has made his way into the 10. Macaulay Jones, the youngster, is 11th at the moment. So a couple of stories of guys who've made some ground. Morris as well, back up to 15th, but he's been in the wars a little.
There's a lot of cars now sitting on 3 curb strikes, down at 2. Bad sportsmanship flags being shown to a few more cars. The lead has just come down slightly. It stretched out, obviously, when we saw Waters have that big moment at 11. It's just under 2 seconds at 1.7. Waters that time around.
Andrew Jones said to me no problems for him in race 1 yesterday. Not one mark on the car despite a huge amount of passing. They weren't planning to change a lot on that number 8 today, just to keep the setup as per 3rd quickest in the race yesterday too. So it'd be nice, he said, if I can get a top 4. Hey Andrew, you're in the 4.
Well, we started to talk about, a little while ago in this race before the action started about that penalty that all 3 BJR cars got yesterday to put them to the back of the grid. Unfortunately, they all went into qualifying with 2,000. Oh, what have we got? Dust here. There's a car, Golding.
Almost the same position as yesterday's crash.
That's a serious hit again through turn 1, turn 2. We'll hopefully get a replay. Safety car is on standby.
Turn 3, driver's right.
Voice you hear is Michael Massey, race director. Let's hope Golding's okay.
Well, he's sitting there in a fairly precarious position too, obviously, Rusty. So the yellows are out there. Everyone has backed off.
Okay, safety car, proceed onto the circuit.
Now, camera there got a fairly horrific view yesterday.
The car you're looking for is car 1.
Of Brett Hobson when he went into the fence.
It's Jason Bargwanna, of course, to Michael Massey's right there. And in terms of a bit of background on Golding for you, great young guy, works for Gary Rogers Motorsport during the week and was really looking forward to the opportunity this weekend. Is it a carbon copy of yesterday? What happens here as they come through the centre chicane?
Macaulay Jones just ahead of him. He got a fair bit of air. The car got a little bit out of shape off turn 1, and it got big time out of shape. He was trying to obviously straighten the car up, I think, to get himself back in a decent line through 2. Look how it's reacted when it's come down. All that force going through those dampers. And he's just been unable to straighten it up. Lost the rear into the loose stuff on the side. He's just slid past the tyre barrier. But at this point, he is a passenger of the 99.
What a shame for the 20-year-old. He's had 2 round starts in this. Best round result of 24th. That was, of course, at Sydney Olympic Park last year.
Travelling very fast through turn 1 and 2. The momentum's carried him all the way down through turn 3. And into the fence. What a terrifying ride for young James Golding. Oh. The pictures are just astonishing, Rusty.
That corner has claimed a few over the last couple of days in this Dunlop series. Here it is again in real time. Oh. Listen to this. Oh, how violent.
If you saw our two faces in here right now, wincing as we see the impact of that car. Great to see him climbing out.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Dr. Carl there. So this is not the first time it's happened over the weekend, as we said, but here it is in slow motion.
I actually don't enjoy seeing these at all.
Don't blame you. Oh, look at the damage to the rear of that car.
I've never seen a camera shot like that before. That is just incredible. Look at the glass. So big impact. Here we go again, full speed. Just landed bad. The front gripped. He was unable to correct it in time. Oh. Wow. Well, he's going to be busy boy in the next few weeks. He works for Gary Rogers, and he's going to have to probably get his hands on the car that he's driving there to help get it repaired for the next round.
We're scheduled to have 4 laps remaining here. When we had a similar scenario yesterday, when it resumed, we had just 1 lap to complete it. We're crunching. This is yesterday's incident. Let's have a look here at the 7, which didn't take part in today's race. This is today. Hobson yesterday, Golding today.
So poor old Brett Hobson, yesterday broke the steering when he came over the curb. Huge impact that he took as well. Front on, James Golding didn't brake, just lost control. Tried to recover, I think, for turn 2 to probably avoid getting another strike over the curb. And unfortunately, when it landed, the front gripped up, and the correction to that left him losing control, losing the rear, and sliding backwards into the fence. So 2 impacts in exactly the same spot with devastating consequences.
So we're just crunching some numbers here in relation to the state of play for the round. If Paul Dumbrell is able to stay ahead, he will take the round win. Cam Waters, of course, if we get a shot at it, at least a fast lap under race conditions, we'll be hoping that won't be the case. And Aaron Russell, after a very, very good weekend, he may be tied on points with in the battle for 3rd place, but we believe Russell will take 3rd for the round as well. Let's go to Rihanna.
Yeah, just with Gary Rogers. Gary, we never like to see anything like that, particularly for one of your young guys, and it's his first time in the Dunlop series.
It is, and, you know, look, you hate it when it happens, but it is going to happen from time to time. You've got to deal with it as best you can. And look, he'll be feeling bad enough, and I certainly don't need to room him any harder because, look, he was trying, and that's what you want, people that will try and hopefully are quick enough, and then from time to time maybe you've got to slow them down a bit, but it's no good getting some guy that wants to sit on the lounge and not have a crack.
That's exactly right. Thanks, Gary.
You're welcome.
Just to clarify too, in relation to the points scenario, Dumbrell and Waters are tied on points right now, but it's the person who has the better result, or in this case wins the final race of the weekend, that will determine the outcome of the round win. So if Dumbrell is able to execute to go on, he will win the round. We take a look again in slow motion.
We just see when he came
he
off.
fought it, didn't he? He tried.
But when he came off turn 2 and the load came back down on the front, he had the wheels corrected for the slide or the flight that he had, which
the anticipation
had the yaw of the car, and the anticipation. When it came down, that load, it came down on those tyres. They gripped and it just turned it to the left. And at that point, he was using up a lot of road very, very quickly. So he tried to adjust again, and it was all too late by that stage.
We're hearing from race control that it's likely to finish under yellow. We'll do one more lap behind the safety car here, and then it will more than likely be called.
Car 1 has commenced the final lap. This race is a time-certain race. The race will conclude under safety car, but the safety car await my instructions.
So on that basis, Dumbrell will take out round 1 of the championship. from Cam Waters and Aaron Russell. Again, we see it in real time at full ferocity. And again, you alluded to this yesterday, a testament to the safety structure of these V8 supercars. Both guys got out of the car.
Absolutely. You know, these things are built very tough with the driver in mind. So very, very safe, and great to see both of them get away with no damage to themselves, just the machinery, which can always be fixed, of course.
So we're behind the safety car here. Rule 15.4.2.5 in the event of 2 or more drivers scoring equal points at the end of the round, which we have right now. Dumbrell and Waters tied in numbers terms. The final order determined in reference to each driver's overall finishing placing. So Dumbrell, of course, we're talking in the final race here, is on top and will take the round.
What a race, though.
Amazing.
Rusty, at the start, the first 10 or so laps, these two dicing it out.
Results of the last race of the round.
Just going hammer and tongs. We were getting pretty excited about it, changing that position at the front, both locking up front tyres at various times, which I think probably then hindered them both a little bit, and it was just about who could manage it best to the end. Both on 3 curb strikes as well down at turn 2, which
touch and go for them, wasn't it? Yeah.
Gets your heart pumping every time you turn up at turn 1, wanting to make sure you hit your brake marker just spot on, get it turned in, and don't have a moment. Don't want to carry a little bit too much speed and have to use too much road there. And obviously a trip through the pit lane, very, very costly. So it's a shame we're going to finish under safety car here, but it's good to see James Golding climb out of that car after that huge impact.
Absolutely. And while plenty of people were pumped about Cam Waters' result yesterday too, we've got to say Dumbrell, I mean, to come through from the 4th row of the grid after that penalty was applied yesterday, claw his way into a front row starting position for today's race. Brilliant start by him, and he will take the round by virtue of his finishing position in this race. They're tied on points. It's over, boys. It's over.
Yeah.
Dumbrell wins round 1 of the Dunlop Series in 2015.
Not sure everyone was looking at the yellow flags there, Rusty. There was no reason to be racing, but anyway.
Congratulations to all of the Eggleston Motorsport crew as well. Ben, Rachel Wagg, all of them. 3 cars, and they've all finished in this second race in the top 6. So let's take a look at the results for the round. Dumbrell from Waters, and that's a standout effort by Aaron Russell too. Murph stayed out of trouble.
Fantastic
and
for
clawed
him.
his way up. It's brilliant stuff.
Absolutely. Andrew Jones finished 4th after a torrid weekend for the BJR team. We never got to explain fully why they were back down the grid. There's Macaulay Jones, 11th. What a great recovery for him.
Both of them have clawed up a serious amount of grid positions in the 2 races. That's brilliant stuff. Hard charging by Andrew Jones and Macaulay Jones. So the second race was as action-packed as the first one in the Dunlop Series. Cam Waters started on pole position, but Paul Dumbrell had it gripped up and led them through the centre chicane for the first time. There was a moment for Aaron McGill in the 75, but he was able to keep it off the wall. Turn 8 would see its share of drama, but Paul Morris, after that deflating tyre yesterday, was fighting his way through. Shay Davies, Simon Evans was involved in that. Look at this. This is what we were talking about, the 35.
Oh, Todd Hazelwood. That was a big moment for him. There's Josh Keane going up the escape road. These two put on just a stellar performance. This was a big moment. Dumbrell locking the right front heavily. Gave Cam Waters the opportunity to get in front. We thought, well, that was the moment they were looking for. But then Waters, but slow through turn 8. Obviously, Dumbrell put it on the line. He touched the wall as he made this move. Had to prop it up at the centre of 9. Well, Waters thought, maybe I'm going to get this back, but he couldn't. He got on the outside of Paul Dumbrell. They raced down to turn 1, side by side. The number 1 car had the inside. This gave Cam Waters another strike across the curb. He had to watch it. Oh, Dan Day backwards into turn 4. Renee Gracie in the Fujitsu entry. The 2 girls out there. Matt Hansen off the road. And this which was just a horror end for James Golding.
The 99 Dragon Motorsport entry, he was able to walk away. Second time we've seen an incident at this spot on the track in 24 hours. The net result, we finished under safety car. A tie for points position on the round resolved under the rules by allocating the round finishing positions in the order of the results of this last race. So Paul Dumbrell finishing ahead of Cam Waters. Dumbrell wins the round from Waters with Aaron Russell in the top 3. Let's go to Rihanna in the lane.
Paul Dumbrell, it certainly wasn't easy for you, but congratulations, you got the first round win for 2015.
Yeah, no, certainly glad I came out and blew the cobwebs off. A bit rusty there, but a few mistakes, which wasn't ideal. But the car's really strong, like it was yesterday. Good battle with Cam, and really looking forward to the year. And hopefully we can bang a few more doors and see how it ends up.
You get to start the year with some champagne. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Well done to the reigning champion. About to have the podium presentation here for round 1 of the series. In terms of series wins by the manufacturer coming into the 2015 championship, 8 to Ford, 7 to Holden. And the reigning champion opens the account perfectly there. He wins the round, but as you can see, the points accumulation for the pair of them over the 2 races sees them with the same tally, 288. Aaron Russell tied with Ant Pedersen in numbers terms as well. So that's a good job by the Kiwi Pedersen, but Russell, courtesy of his finishing position in the final race of the weekend, finishes 3rd for the Clipsal 500.
It's time for the podium for round 1 of the Dunlop series here at Clipsal 500 Adelaide. In first place, driving for Eggleston Motorsport, Paul Dumbrell. In second place, driving for Team NZPRA, Cameron Waters. And third, driving for Plus Fitness Go-Karts Go, Aaron Russell. Handing over the trophy for third place is Brent Felice, Sponsorship and Events Manager for Cooper's Brewery. Presenting the second place trophy, Leanne Turner, the CEO of MTAA Superfund. And for the first place winners trophy, Jeanette Aston, Product and Brand Manager of our naming rights sponsor, Dunlop Tyres. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2015 V8 Supercars Clipsal 500 Adelaide Dunlop Series Round 1 winners. Yeah.